Hello everyone, it's Prajjwal Pathak this side, and you're watching my YouTube channel pyGuru. Friends, today we are going to learn how can we create a simple Telegram bot which we can schedule. Okay, what I mean by schedule is that the bot will send us a daily picture and some text with it daily in the morning at 5 between 5 to 6 p.m. Okay. Before that, we have already created a detailed video on how to create Telegram bots and deploy it for free. This bot will also be free to create and deploy. Okay, again we'll be using the Google App Script, and we'll be using its scheduler function to schedule the bot. To get started, first of all, you have to create a bot on Telegram. For that, just open Telegram. You can do it in your phone or in your PC. Search here bot father. Now this is the official Telegram bot to create bots. Okay, so just open it. The next thing that you have to do is you have to just click menu, and here you have to enter this command slash new bot. This will create a new bot for you. Okay, so I created a bot in for my last tutorial. So if I type slash new bot, it will say all right a new bot. Okay, so we have to give our bot a name. You can give this your bot any name. I have given it a its bot. And the next thing is you have to give a username or user ID to your bot. The thing is that this user ID should end with a bot. Okay, so keep in mind that you give some name which ends with bot. So again, I just gave the same name, and if you succeed, you will get an API token or access token for your bot. We need this access token in order to communicate our bot with Telegram. Okay. Now, once you do it, what you have to do, just go here. This is the link for your bot, and here what you can do, just click start. Okay. Now we can send messages to this bot like we did in the previous tutorial, but for with this tutorial, we'll not be sending any message to this bot. Okay, what we'll be doing instead is that we'll just schedule a function which will automatically send such some text and images daily at some given certain time. You can do it like once in a day or multiple times a day. Okay. So here I'll just go back and I'll just copy this thing. But before that, let's just get started with Google Apps Script. For that, you have to open script.google.com and you have to create a new script. Okay. So let it get open and then we'll move to create a new script. So just go here and type, click new project. I'll give this bot name as, you can give this bot any name. Okay. So I will just give it as demo bot 2 because we already created one yesterday. So demo bot 2. Okay, so good to me. And now here we will just rename this file and we'll make this constants. You can give this a name, it doesn't matter. In constant file we will store all the constants. First of all, the thing we need to store is the access token for your bot. So we generated the access token here. So let me just copy this thing. Okay, and now I'll just paste in here. That's good. The next thing that you need to know is that there's some error. Okay, so I just have to put double quotes around this access token, otherwise you will get this error. Okay. Now the next thing that you need to learn is about the Telegram bot API. So you can just open a new tab and here type Telegram bot API. Basically, it is a complete documentation of how to create bots using Telegram. Okay. So we are going to use few functions from it. This is a detailed documentation. You can read it and create bots accordingly. So here in the available methods, we are going to use two methods. This one, send message, and let's say send photo. We are going to use these functions. So let me just show the basic of send photo here. Okay. So it takes two things. The chat ID. You need a chat ID. What is chat ID? I will show you in a minute. And the next thing is the photo. This photo can be the URL of photo or the image. Okay, and then there is this caption here. You can also pass the caption here if you want. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, we need to know what is the chat ID. Okay, so chat ID is unique for each user, channel, or group on Telegram. So if you want to know your chat ID, just go to here and just type anything. Let's say I'll just type hello. Okay, now we have few endpoints. Since we know that, uh, let me just copy this thing and then I'll explain you better. Okay, I'll just come here and in the constants here I'll paste these things. Now, basically, Telegram provides us, since Telegram is provides us API to interact with the bot and Telegram. There are certain endpoints that we can use. One endpoint that I saw you was send photo. Okay, so this is the endpoint. How does this works? First of all, you this will be common in every endpoint. https://api.telegram.org/bot. Then you will need a token, access token. This is our access token. And then finally, you can use the endpoint like send message, send photo, get updates, send audio, document, video, animation, voice, whatever you want to send, you can use. Let me just print the value of this thing so I can show you better. To create a function in Google Script, you just type function, then the function name. Let me just type test, okay. And here I'll just log. So in order to print something, you use the logger.log function and then pass the variable name. The one we are looking for is the updates endpoint. So I'll just print this thing and then I'll just run the test function. Okay, just select test from here and then click run. Then it will print the entire URL for us. Okay. Now what you have to do, just copy this URL and paste it in your browser like this. So it's saying that can't you get updates muted while webhook is active? Okay, so just give it a minute, I'll fix it and then. So guys, we previously in the last tutorial discussed what is webhook, how to set and delete webhook. The webhook was already set from the last tutorial, so that's why I was getting this error. But now if I just refresh this back, it will say, okay, true result is equal to empty. Okay. So what we can do to find out our uh, chat ID is again we can send some message. Here I've sent hello, and if I just refresh it once again, you will see this is the thing that we'll receive. Now here it stores few information like the update ID, the message we are getting. This is the message ID. This is the detail of the person who sent Telegram username, like this kind of things. Then in the chat section, you can see like the date and the text. Okay, so here this is the text that we received. And if you want to get the chat ID, this is your chat ID. This will be unique for each user. So it will be different for you and different for some channel and different for some group. Okay, we need this thing. So let me just copy it and paste it here. Okay, so let's do const chat ID is equal to, let's just paste this thing. Okay, looks good to me. The next thing is what we can do is okay, let me just see it. We need a chat ID and the photo and then caption the group to me. Now what we are going to do this in with this bot is that this bot will send me a picture of Lord Shiva every day in the morning between 5 to 6 a.m. Okay, along with some text. Now it depends upon you what you want to send. Like in the last tutorial we used few APIs, so I will again say if you want you can just use any of these free APIs. It's around 20 to 50 APIs. You can just use any of these. Okay, this does not require any type of authorization, so you can just click it and you will get some data in JSON format, which you can again send back to the bot. Okay, what we are going to do is I'm going to use one of my own bots. We don't need this thing now. Okay, so I can just delete this tab, and here I have the link for my API. We'll also learn how to create API using fast API in upcoming tutorials and deploy it for free. If I just open it now, you will it will open the fast API access. For first API like documentation, where we are going to use two APIs. Okay, so it's opens a documentation like this. What we are going to do is we are going to use the last two APIs mentioned here. So what this does is you can just maximize it and then click try it out and then click execute. This returns some data like this message success date, this is 21st July 2023, and some details related to particular day in from the Hindu culture. Okay. Then the second API we are going to use is that this Mahadev endpoint. And again, if I just click execute, this will return me a random picture of Lord Shiva. Okay. Now we can just use this like URL, pass it to this photo here. Okay. So let's get started without any wasting any time. So here, what we are going to do, we are going to just create a function for the new file main.py. Here we will just call it send photo. Looks good to me. Before that, we will create one more file and call it functions.py. So let's just create this one. Sorry, functions only. Okay, not py. We are not using Python here. We are using Google Apps Script, which is basically JavaScript. Okay. So in the function.py, what we are going to do, first of all, we are just going to call the endpoint. Okay. So let's create a one more function, get Siva images. You can call this anything. And what this will do is we are going to use a variable URL of the API. The URL will be something like this. This is the TV API. Okay, looks good to me. Let me just copy it till here and paste it here. Okay, I'll just give the endpoints in the description so you can just copy it in order to follow along. And then it will be API slash v1 slash Sanatan. And then the first one was today. Okay, and we can use the URL one, and then let me just copy this thing and then paste this one, and for the URL 2 the endpoint was Mahadev in the end. Okay, so let me just paste this here. Now we can just call it. To call it, we are going to create a variable response, and in order to call a API from Google Apps Script, you use the URL fetch.app.fetch function and then pass the URL. Okay, so it like this. Finally, you need to parse it to JSON, the output of this thing. So JSON.parse. If you don't parse it, na, so sometimes what happens, you get only some part of the data, not the entire data. And also, if the data is not correctly in JSON format, it will like forcefully convert it to JSON. Finally, we can just print the response. So logger.log response is good. Now here we are going to use first of all URL1. Okay, so let's try to run this function, save it, and then just run this function. And let's see what happens if we are getting any error or not. In the review permissions, you just authorize your bot to use these features. So just select your account, and in the advanced, just go to demo bot 2 and save. And then finally, what you have to do is you have to allow. Okay. Once it's done, authorization successful, this will help us to call the API. It looks good. Okay. Logger.response is success. We are getting the data, but what we want to do is we want to print the value. Okay. So we can print like the error, date, sunrise, sunset, sloka, or importance. Let's try to print the sloka from it. So response.sloka. If I just try to run it once again, so this will print me the sloka of that particular day. Okay, so it looks good. It's sending me this thing. Okay. Similarly, if you want to get the stored image, you can just use the URL2 from URL2 here, and this will just send me a okay. Some error is here. Okay, okay, it's my fault. It will be not. It will be URL. You can see here. Uh, we were getting Sloka from the today endpoint. Okay, the endpoint was today, and you can in the Mahadev endpoint you will receive a value URL. So you can only call this URL. Otherwise, you will get error. If I just try to run it again, so it will give me this an URL of the image. Looks good to me. Now let's just try to format it. Okay, so we'll use the URL one. Then we'll just extract all the data from it. So first of all, I just need the date. So response.date. Again, how I know what I am getting is that in the API, it will show you what things we will get once you run these things. Okay. So first we need date, sunrise, sunset, and then importance. So we are going to just fetch these things. So date, sunrise, response.sunrise, sunset equal to response.sunset, and then the final thing is the importance. So we'll just call importance here, and then response dot importance. Okay, looks good to me. Now let's try to put it in a string. So var string, and I'll just use this like this codes to print things. First of all, I want to print the date. So in JavaScript you use these things, uh, then pass the date. In Python, we use the f strings. In JavaScript, we use this backticks, and then inside the curly braces, you pass the variable name, and before curly braces, you use the dollar symbol. Okay, looks good to me. Then we will print the sunrise, sunset, and important. Let me just copy this line. this thing, and this thing. We need to put a dollar, again dollar, and then again dollar. Then finally, we need what? Sunrise, sunset, and then importance. Looks good to me. Okay. Let's just try to print this string and let's see if it works or not. Okay. So let's just save it and then try to run it. And let's see what's, yes, it's working. Looks good. 21st July 2023, and then this Suryodaya, Suryast, like kind of these things. Looks good. Now here we will check if a string, like it simply means if there's no error in the string, okay, we are able to get decimal data from the API. Then next time what we'll do is we will just try to get the URL of the picture. So response to URL fetch app dot fetch, and here we will just pass the URL to the good. Again, we will just pass it to JSON dot parse, and here we will just use this thing. Okay. Now we'll just try to get the URL from it. var URL is equal to response to dot URL. Looks good to me. Again, we can just check if there is some value in the URL. What we can do is we will just return these things. Return. First of all, we'll return the string and then we'll return the URL. Looks good to me. Okay, so this is the complete code for this function. Now we'll just come to the main.py and let me just try to rename it. Again, if I'm just saying py, okay, my fault. It's completed. This function is complete now. If you want, you can just test it like this. Function test, okay, and then logger dot log get siva images. This is a function, and let's just try to run it, and let's see, try to run the test function, and then let's see what is the output we are getting so that we can better understand. Okay, so we are getting this info and this URL of the image. Now let's come to the main.js function. Here we will create a function called send photo. This will take few things: the chat ID, and then the URL of the image, and then the, we can call it like this, caption, and then the URL. Looks good to me. Okay, this will need three things. You can also read in the documentation. If you want to send more things, you can just scroll down and pass these things also if you want. Okay, so we are using chat ID, caption, URL. Chat ID we have already defined here. Okay, now let's come here. We need to do a few things. See, in the first, sorry, if I just come here, here we are directly using URL fetch app dot fetch. This is basically a get get function. API has both things like get and post methods. We are using the get method here. To use the post method, the Telegram bots API basically uses post methods for the API. So to do this, you need to pass few extra things, and we'll learn what are these things. Okay. So let's see how can we use this. Actually, it's very easy. We are just going to first of all, let's just fetch the caption comma URL from get siva images. Okay. Now we are going to actually we didn't need to pass it. We don't need to pass anything here. Okay, send siva photo. We can just call it like this now. This looks good. Okay, because we have already defined the chat ID here, and caption URL will get from this get siva images function. Okay, so now the next thing that we need to do is first of all we need to create a payload. Payload is a body data or that you send along the API. So there are two things that we need to pass. So chat ID, it will be equal to chat ID. We have already defined the chat ID. Again, this is a JSON, so keep in mind. Then next thing is the photo. It's written here in the documentation. Okay. So chat ID, caption, and photo. Chat ID, photo, and caption here. So for the photo, we are just going to use the URL, and for the caption, we are going to use the caption. Looks good to me. Now the next thing that we want to do is we need to create a one more variable, options. Here we need to define what kind of method we are going to use. So method will be equal to post. Okay, if you are going to use the get method, you can directly use it. Otherwise, you can also try get here. And then for the payload, you need to just pass the payload here, and this is pass payload. Looks good to me. Finally, we are just going to call the response. URL response. We are just going to make a API request. So URL fetch app dot fetch, and then you just need to pass the endpoint. What is the endpoint that we are going to use? Is this one, send photo endpoint. We have already defined here. So we are just going to use this endpoint and send photo endpoint, and then options is equal to option. Finally, we are just going to print the response logger.log response. Let's try to run this function once, and let's see if it's sending the image to a bot or not. If it works, good. Otherwise, we'll just caption is not defined. Why it's not defined? Caption is not defined. Okay, so our caption, we need to do it like this: caption, and then I guess URL. It should work now. Let's try to do it once again. Let's see if it works or not. Okay, it does work. It sent us the image, looks good, along with this text. Okay, perfect. You can try just once again, and let's see if it's sending one more image or not. Finally, the last thing that will remain is to schedule this bot. Okay, so again, just send me this image along with this text. Looks good. Now let's see how can we schedule it. Actually, it's very easy. You just go to this triggers here. Okay, triggers. You need to create a trigger here. Uh, which one we wanted to? We have this function send Siva photo. Okay. Then here from it should be head. Just keep it head. Here it should be time driven. Okay, so keep it time driven. Here it will be instead of hour timer, I want to send it only once in a day. If you want to send like multiple times a day, you can use minute timer, hour timer, week timer, month timer, whatever you want. I want to use a day timer. When I want to receive this image between 5 to 6 a.m. So I'll just select it. Okay, and you just click save. Now this bot will automatically keep sending you image, lots of image along with the caption every day, once between 5 to 6 a.m. Okay, so yes, this is it, guys. I can just run it and show you this time because it will automatically get triggered at 5 between 5 to 6 a.m. So I can't just show you, but it will work because we tried to run this function and see a photo and executed it, and it was working fine. So yes, this is about this video, guys. If you love this video, leave a like or dislike. If you're new to my channel, subscribe it. If you have any doubt, you can ask it in the comment section or join my Telegram channel. My Telegram channel is this one, pyGuru Python, or you can also discuss it here in the discussion group. Okay, so it's about up to you. Okay, so yes, this is it, guys. Hope you loved it. Thank you very much.